Hi friends, I welcome you all to today's discussion with regard to finance related current affairs, and the topic which we are going to discuss today is the guidelines on regulation of payment aggregators and payment gateways which have been recently issued by RBI. Now we are going to decode these very important guidelines issued by RBI in the form of MCQs today. So friends, now let's start discussion on some of the important MCQs which can be. So let's start with the first question. Taking into account the important functions of payment aggregators and payment gateways in the online payments space, as also keeping in view their role vis-a-vis handling of the funds, RBI has recently decided to. Options are regulate in entirety the activities of payment aggregators, provide baseline technology related recommendations to payment gateways, permit payment aggregators and gateways to function unhindered, both A and B, none of the above. Now, taking into account the important functions that the payment aggregators and payment gateways they are performing in the online payments space, and keeping in account the role vis-a-vis handling of the funds. So these entities they are involved with regard to the facilitation of the transactions from the merchant to the customer. So if the customer has to buy something online, so suppose if you have to buy any course online from us, then in this regard you have to visit our website and you have to make the payment, and in between me and you, in between us and you, there will be a payment aggregator and payment gateway which is going to be involved. So they are performing a very crucial role. So RBI has decided to regulate in entirety the activities of the payment aggregators and as well to provide the baseline technology related recommendations to the payment gateways. Now payment aggregators they are primarily concerned with collection of payments, and payment gateways they are more related with the technology aspect. So RBI is going to regulate in entirety the activities of payment aggregators, and it has also provided baseline technology related recommendations in respect of payment gateways. Now it has also been specified that these guidelines they are issued under section 18 read with section 10 subsection 2 of the Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007, and they are going to come into effect from April 1, 2020. So this is about the introductory part of this particular notification. So friends, based on our discussion on the previous slide, now we can easily answer this question that the answer is going to be option number D, both A and B. Now moving on to the next question. Dash are entities that provide technology infrastructure to route and facilitate processing of an online payment transaction without any involvement in handling of the funds. Options are payment aggregators, payment gateways, payment portals, payment operators, or none of the above. So friends, now let's take a look at the meaning of payment aggregators and payment gateways as specified in these recently issued RBI guidelines. So with regard to the payment aggregators, the guidelines state that they are the entities that facilitate e-commerce sites and merchants to accept various payment instruments from the customers for completion of their payment obligations without the need for merchants to create a separate payment integration system of their own. So suppose if you go online and you want to buy something, you want to buy a shirt, then payment aggregators they are going to allow you to make the payment from your any payment instrument, debit card, credit card, net banking, UPI, any payment instrument, and you can easily transmit the amount to the merchant. So they are basically facilitating the merchants to connect with the customers. In this process, they receive the payments from the customers, pool and transfer them onto the merchants after a time period. So they are going to collect the money from you and they are going to transfer the money to the merchant after a certain time period. Now, if you talk about the payment gateways, so these are the entities which are primarily concerned with the technology related aspect. They are providing technology infrastructure to route and facilitate processing of an online payment transaction without any involvement in the handling of the funds. So this is very important that payment gateways, they are providing the technology infrastructure, but they are not involved in any handling of the funds. So this is important. So friends, now we can easily answer this question. That answer is going to be option number B, payment gateways, because they are the ones concerned with the technology aspect and not involved in the handling of the funds. So answer is option number B. Next question. As per recently issued RBI's guidelines on regulation of payment aggregators and payment gateways, new payment aggregators shall have a minimum net worth of dash at the time of application for authorization. Options are rupees 5 crore, rupees 15 crore, rupees 50 crore, rupees 500 crore, or none of the above. Now let's talk about the capital requirements vis-a-vis payment aggregators. Now, if you want to become a payment aggregator, you are going to handle lots and lots of funds. So you should be financially sound. So the guidelines state that the payment aggregators existing as on the date of this circular, they shall achieve a net worth of rupees 15 crore by 31st March 2021 and a net worth of rupees 25 crore by the end of the third financial year, that is before 31st March 2023. The net worth of rupees 25 crore shall be maintained at all times thereafter. So this is about the existing payment aggregators. Now further, the guidelines state that the new payment aggregators, they shall have a minimum net worth of rupees 15 crore at the time of application for authorization, and they will be required to attain a net worth of rupees 25 crore by the end of the financial year of the grant of the authorization. And then again, they have to maintain this net worth of rupees 25 crore at all times thereafter. Now, if a payment aggregator is not complying with these net worth requirement within the stipulated time frame, then they will be required to wind up, they will be required to shut down their payment aggregation business. So RBI is very strict about these capital requirements. So as per our discussion on the previous slide, now we can easily answer this one, that the answer is going to be option number B, 15 crore, because this is the minimum net worth to be kept by the new payment aggregator at the time of application for authorization. Moving on to the next question. RBI has recently come up with the guidelines on regulation of payment aggregators and payment gateways. These guidelines shall, options are, be applicable to payment aggregators, apply on domestic leg of import and export related payments facilitated by payment aggregators, be applicable to cash on delivery e-commerce model, both A and B, all of the above. Now let's take a look at the applicability of these guidelines. So the guidelines, they shall be applicable to payment aggregators, and the payment aggregators shall also adopt the technology related recommendations which have been provided in these guidelines in the second annexure. And also as a measure of good practice, the payment gateways, they may adhere to the baseline technology related recommendations which have been provided by RBI, so that the payment gateways, they can take a look at what are the basic technology related things that they should keep into account. Further, if we talk about any international transaction, import or export related payment being facilitated by the payment aggregator, then domestic leg of such kind of payments, they shall also be governed by these guidelines or instructions. Further, it is specified, now this is important, that these guidelines, they are not applicable to cash on delivery e-commerce model. So they are only applicable to online payment e-commerce model. They are not applicable to cash on delivery e-commerce model, because in these kinds of scenarios, the payment aggregators and gateways, they are not going to be actually involved. So friends, based on our discussion on the previous slide, now we can easily answer this one, that these guidelines, they are going to be applicable to payment aggregators as well as on the domestic leg of import and export related payments facilitated by the payment aggregators. They are not applicable to cash on delivery e-commerce model. So clearly the answer is option number D, both A and B. Now moving on to the next question. As per recently issued RBI's guidelines on regulation of payment aggregators and payment gateways, non-bank payment aggregators shall maintain the amount collected by them in an escrow account with, options are, any scheduled commercial bank, any commercial bank, any non-banking finance company, any of the above or none of the above. So now let's talk about the key points with regard to the settlement and escrow account management. Now the non-bank payment aggregators, the money they are collecting from the customers on behalf of the merchant, they are required to maintain this amount which they have collected in a separate account. Now this account is termed as escrow account. So the money is to be kept separately in an escrow account with any scheduled commercial bank. The escrow account balance shall be maintained with only one scheduled commercial bank at any point of time. So you cannot have more than one scheduled commercial bank to maintain the amount collected by you from the customers on behalf of the merchants. Further, if there are any reverse transactions, there are any refunds, there are any credits which are to be given, they shall be routed back through the escrow account only. So now we can easily answer this question that the non-bank payment aggregators, they are required to maintain the amount collected in a separate escrow account with any one scheduled commercial bank. So clearly the answer is option number A. So here we end this session. Thank you friends for watching this video and stay tuned for more updates.